She wasn't supposed to belong there. No designer gear, no private instructor, no last name that opened doors. Just a quiet woman with a second-hand Glock and a promise etched deeper than grief. When Emma Miller walked into the elite shooters club, she was dismissed with a smirk and mocked by a man who thought money made him invincible. What he didn't know, her husband was a Navy SEAL sniper. Dead now, but not forgotten. And he taught her everything. 1 shot silenced a room. 3 shattered egos. 10 proved that skill forged in love and loss doesn't care about your resume. Blake Radcliffe had everything. Fame, fortune, flawless aim. But what he didn't have was honor. When he tried to cheat her, she beat him anyway. With a steady hand, a borrowed gun, and the calm focus of a woman who had already lost everything and still stood tall. This isn't just a story about shooting. It's about what happens when the quietest one in the room finally takes the shot. The sound of a perfect shot cracked through the hushed air of the elite shooters club, followed by the polite applause of patrons in tailored tweed and Italian leather. Blake Radcliffe lowered his custom Remington, tan face creased by a familiar smirk. 5-time national champion, Olympic gold medalist, heir to an oil fortune. This was his kingdom, a place where money, power, and skill formed an unbreakable wall between the elite and everyone else. No one noticed the woman in the simple blue cardigan who slipped through the door, clutching a worn leather purse like a life raft. Emma Miller, 35, neither young enough to turn heads nor wealthy enough to matter, asked the immaculate receptionist for an open practice slot. Membership cards only, the woman said, gaze skating over Emma's department store jeans. Emma produced a crinkled envelope. Day pass. It was a gift. Across the room Blake drawled, loud enough for the chandeliers to hear. Looks like someone took a wrong turn on the way to Walmart. Laughter followed like obedient dogs. Emma found the farthest lane, unfolded a cloth-wrapped Glock 19. Serviceable, stock, nothing like the jeweled pistols around her, and began to load. Blake sauntered over, trailing sycophants. 10 grand says you can't hit the bull at 50 yards, he announced. If you do, I pay. If you miss, you leave and never come back. Emma's left hand brushed the plain gold band on her ring finger. All right, she said quietly. The range fell silent. Emma lifted the Glock and muscle memory older than grief took over. 3 points. Stance, breath, sight picture. She fired. The target slid back with a single, perfect hole dead center. Blake's smirk froze. Beginner's luck, he muttered. But uncertainty flickered. Rebecca Johnson, the club manager and former champion, stepped closer. That was exceptional, Ms. Miller. Blake's pride flared. 1 lucky shot doesn't make a pro. 50 grand says she can't do it 3 times at 75 yards. Emma met his eyes. If I win, the money goes to the Veterans Support Foundation. Deal. No one saw the way her shoulders settled, the ghost of a SEAL's hands guiding her posture. 3 years earlier Emma had stood under a gray April sky at Arlington. Folded flag pressed to her chest, Master Chief Nathan Miller, call sign Ghost, lowered into the ground. They had met in a Burlington coffee shop, married 6 months later. Between deployments Nathan taught her to shoot. Steady hands, perfect vision, calm under pressure. The range became their sanctuary. 2 days before his final mission he made her promise. Keep practicing even when I'm not here. After the funeral she locked his guns away and moved to Boston. Grief sealed tight as a drum. Last week a package arrived. A day pass to Elite and a note from teammate Michael Reeves. Nathan would want you to keep your promise. Now, with Blake's challenge hanging in the air, Emma felt the promise stir. She fired 3 times. 3 bullseyes. Blake's face drained. Rebecca whispered, "He holds the club record at this distance." Blake recovered with a showman's grin. 1 week. Formal match. 10 stations, 10 firearms, club guns to keep it fair. If you lose, you admit you cheated. Emma nodded. If I win, the donation stands. Blake's investigator dug. By nightfall Blake knew. Widow of a Tier 1 sniper trained by the best. Fear crept in, dressed as arrogance. He phoned instructions. Adjust the final rifle, weight the scoring, stack the deck. Rebecca noticed, warned Emma, then watched helplessly. Veterans, Michael Reeves among them, showed up on match day, quiet sentinels in the back row. 10 stations unfolded. Blake flawless, Emma unshakable. By station 8 they were tied. At station 9 Blake leaned in. Your husband's techniques are distinctive. I did my homework, Emma answered. Then you know he valued integrity above trophies. Station 10. A Macmillan TC-338 at 1,000 yards, scope subtly sabotaged. Blake shot first, 9 of 10 in the X-ring. Emma adjusted using Nathan's wind formulas, fired 10 consecutive bullseyes. The crowd erupted. Final score: Emma Miller, first place. Blake Radcliffe, second. Blake's mask cracked. Equipment was rigged. Rebecca produced security footage, Blake's own tech tampering with the rifles. The room stilled. Police arrived. Sponsors fled. Within days, Blake's legal team offered settlement. $100,000 to the Veterans Support Foundation, public apology, 3-year suspension. Emma accepted only after Blake admitted, face to face, that excellence without honor is just noise. 6 months later, Emma stood in a new indoor range built with Blake's donation. Fluorescent lights gleamed off wheelchairs and prosthetics. My name is Emma Miller, she told 6 veterans. I'm not a soldier or a champion, just someone who learned that the steadiest hands often belong to those who've endured the greatest shaking. She twisted her wedding ring once more, then raised a rifle. The first shot rang out, crisp, clean, perfect, echoing like a promise kept. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that strength doesn't always look loud, and that real power can come from grief, love, and quiet resilience, then don't let it end here. Tell us your story. Have you ever been underestimated? Mocked? Told you didn't belong? Drop your story in the comments. Your voice might be the one someone else needs to hear today. Share this with a friend who's had to fight twice as hard to earn half the respect. Let them know they're not alone, and that quiet strength always speaks loudest in the end. Follow this page for more true-to-the-bone stories where integrity beats ego, skill defeats privilege, and the underdog doesn't just survive, they rise. And if you've ever lost someone in uniform, if you've ever held a folded flag and wondered how to carry on, know this: you're not alone. There is power in keeping promises, even the quiet ones, especially the quiet ones. Emma Miller didn't just win a match. She kept a vow. Now it's your turn to honor your fight. Like, comment, share. Remember, rise.